Hey everyone, it's Sheri Vegas here, and in this tutorial today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite hacks to make silicone molds in under 15 minutes. So this is silicone putty, and as you can see it's quite thick. It's obviously a putty over a silicone liquid. So I've shown in previous tutorials how to make liquid silicone molds, and in this one I'm going to show you how you can work with silicone putty and the sort of pros to working with this over a liquid silicone. So obviously the big difference is it's not liquid, it's a putty. It's still a 1-to-1 ratio, and the best way to weigh this out is by weight. You can also do it by volume, but I find it's a lot more accurate doing it by weight because we want to have even amounts of both. Now, depending on what you're going to make will obviously depend on how much of this putty you need to mold, and you can see it's very moldable, very easy to work with. Okay, so I've got 5 grams of my pink. And 5 grams of the white. Now all I have to do is mix these two together, and that's going to activate that chemical reaction. So as long as I keep these two separate, I've got a lot of time to work with it. Now this particular type of putty has a working time of 2 minutes and then anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes setting time. But that can obviously change depending on the brand that you are using. And once I've got the correct measurements, then all I need to do is just blend it together till I can no longer see the white. Now this is particularly great if you've got unusual shaped items, or if you've got small items that you don't necessarily want to build a frame for to then pour the liquid silicone over, or if you want to do something very fast. This is a really great alternative to the liquid silicone. So once that's all mixed up, then all you need to do is grab whatever item you want to mold. Today I'm going to be using a shell, and then you just need to push that item into your silicone putty. Just like that, and then all I need to do is wait probably about 12 minutes before I pull my shell out, and then I could start pouring resin into this straight away. Another great thing that silicone putty is great for is making geode coaster molds. So I've got this one, but it's not too deep, so I want to replicate this but make it deeper. So I've mixed this up, and now I'm going to roll it out to kind of be the size that I want. Make sure that it's got enough that it will go the whole way around. Just like that. And then you can make free form molds. So you could do whatever sort of shape you like. And then I'm going to start pushing down. And then once I'm happy with the size, I can also add the sort of texture that's along here. So I actually do have a crystal on hand, and I can push that in and start creating some really unique texture into the mold. I've seen people use forks. You could really use whatever you wanted to make that sort of texture, if obviously you don't have an actual crystal on hand. And now I've got a coaster mold that is very similar to this one, but a lot deeper, so I can create some cooler effects in it than the one that I just got off Amazon. So it's really good for making really unique freeform pieces. And then once that sets, I can make a really cool geode style coaster. It's been 15 minutes and my silicone rubber is now set, so I can pull out my shell. and you can see I'm left with a perfect imprint. It picks up all of the detail, all of the ridges that are on the shell. This particular method is really great for rings or any sort of pendant that you want to mold, and you want to mold quickly without having to make sort of a frame to stop the silicone from pouring out. I really love this technique, and now I can use this mold to make whatever I want, pour resin, Jessamite, any sort of item into that, and then I'm going to get a replica of my shell. And this mold is now fully set. I've got all the texture around the edge, and I've gotten a lot deeper coaster mold that's a little bit bigger, so now I can create some more statement coasters. But you might be wondering what's going to happen when I pour resin in, because obviously there's no bottom to stop that from pouring out. So you can do a few things. You could either get acrylic or perspex and place that on top and then just stick it down using either glue, or you can also use a silicone mold that you've already got, place this on top, press that down, and then you're able to pour on top of that, and that way you're going to also get that nice shine from the silicone onto your coaster. So whatever you place this on, it's going to pick up that sort of texture. So if I did it just on this tabletop, which I could because it is plastic, but it is a matte plastic, my resin, when I pull it out, is going to have that texture. So what I like to do with this is place it into another resin piece, another silicone piece that I already have, which has got a nice shine. Place that down, stick that down nice and secure, and then I can pour my resin on top. And once it's done, I can pull my piece out just like new, pull this off, and this doesn't affect this mold at all. And this is how my piece has turned out, and I think it looks pretty cool. I've got a completely custom mold, and this is reusable, so it's not a one-time use. I can keep reusing this, and silicone sticks to silicone pretty well, so it's quite sticky to each other. So I really didn't get any resin leaking out. I got a little bit just along the edges, which I can then clean up using my tool just to get that nice and perfect, or a little bit of sandpaper just to take that little tiny areas where it wasn't completely flat to the silicone. But other than that, this is looking really awesome. I've got now a nice deep custom mold. I can keep reusing this again and again, just sticking it back down and going again. Or I can now use my liquid silicone and make a mold of this one, and then have an identical mold, so that way I can pour 2 coasters or 3 coasters or 4 coasters all at once if I was making a set. But it's a really great little technique that you can use if you want to make completely free-formed silicone molds. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I post new videos every single week. And if you did find this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel out. Thank you so much for watching.